as more details come forward about the suspected gunman responsible for this massacre at Robb Elementary School. We have a community in mourning, families grieving the tragic death, as Amy mentioned, of 19 children and 2 teachers. With me now to talk more about this, ABC News contributor Elizabeth Neumann. She's a former Homeland Security official under the Trump administration. And unfortunately, Elizabeth, we have all been through a number of these mass shootings together now, and there's still so many questions about just understanding the challenges behind identifying red flags. Let's just start with this suspect. And apparently there were, once again, like we've seen in past mass shootings, there have been social posts, there have been hints, there have sometimes even been very direct messages that violence is about to happen or that these shooters want to create some type of violent situation. And again, we are learning of social posts that took place in this situation. So, first of all, what are your thoughts after learning that? And then let's talk about what can be done moving forward. I know it seems like a broken record. We have this conversation every single time, but let's just sort of parse it out with your thoughts.
Yeah, and that's right. Every time more information comes in, and Matt Gutman, one of our reporters, has been doing a lot of this investigation into the attacker's background, talking to bystanders that are around this attacker, and every time I see something new, it's sad, because you're like, yeah, that fits the profile. And I think that's the thing that we need to do a better job of communicating to the public. There is a profile for these types of attackers. The Secret Service has studied this. The FBI has studied this. You have academics that have studied this. People that commit these types of mass attacks in public spaces tend to have a number of risk factors in their background. And to be clear, just because somebody has these risk factors does not mean they're going to go commit an attack. But those that have committed attacks have these risk factors in their background. And then usually it's risk factors, and let me give you a few examples. They were bullied when they were growing up. The attacker appears by reports to have been bullied. They might have had broken relationships with their family or with friends. There are bystanders that are reporting that he had challenges with friendships at school. Somebody that recently that we spoke to indicated they were no longer friends because he was uncomfortable around him. That means this attacker was increasingly socially isolated. He was not attending school. All of these things are signs and indicators that somebody needs help, and we need to get that person help well before they even start talking about violence online. So my urge to the public is, if you see these signs and indicators of somebody that you know, don't keep it to yourself. Go and talk to somebody and get this person help before it's too late.
Let's also bring Robert Boyce into this conversation. He's a contributor with us, also former NYPD chief of detectives there. So, Bob, you heard what Elizabeth was saying, talking about these risk factors. It's so hard for all of us as a country to just grapple with the fact that we keep seeing these mass shootings and we keep having these same conversations. And it seems like as we find out more about these suspects, I'm just thinking of the past 3 shootings that we've all covered together. There were risk factors. There were signs. There were situations where family knew there was a problem. School knew there was a problem. Friends knew there was a problem. So we can keep having this conversation, but clearly something has to be done. So in light of what happened yesterday, what are your thoughts? And where do we just need to get tougher as a country when it comes to identifying these kids, these young adults that are so troubled?
So, Kara, they're out there, and we have to understand that, and they have the ability to get assault rifles, which is the big threat here. So forget Washington. They're not going to do anything. The states have to do this for themselves. I will tell you that right now. It's just a logjam there, and it's not going to happen. So let's talk about the states. 19 of the 50 states have red flag laws. So some of those states are Connecticut, Florida, and Colorado. Guess what? they've had school shootings where multiple people were killed in each one of those states. Texas does not have one. Now, I'm not saying it's foolproof, but it's something we should be doing just to identify those persons who are in mental illness, that we can stop this before it happens. So that's on the governor Abbott to take care of. All right. There's other things as well. I became a police officer in 1983, and I remember taking a test, 600-question test. If I didn't pass that test, it's called the Minnesota multi-phase screening test. If I didn't pass that test, I didn't get a gun. I didn't have a job. So that was an important step. Why aren't these young people, if you're under 21 and you're getting a long rifle, you should be screened as well, psychologically. No issues with that. Social media screening. Anybody who shows a gun on social media should be a red flag in and of itself, and that has to be addressed. So immediate notification to police departments, the authorities. These things can all be done at state level, because I don't think we're going to get any help from Washington, and politicians will just keep talking. The active shooter response, it's a proven positive thing by law enforcement. It's working. However, it's after the fact, and that's the big problem. As far as hard targeting schools, so much more can be done there, so we can feel comfortable sending our children to school. Anybody buying a ballistic vest, again, more red flags going off. These people, these young men, which is what it is, take a look at them. They're all 18 years old, and they're going buying guns as soon as they become 18. Assault weapons, which is a defined difference from a hunting rifle. These things have to be looked into. We can do so much better. Do not look to Washington. Each state has to take care of themselves.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, handling mental illness and what's going on in a family's home or in a young man or gal's mind is hard to handle. But there is something that we can do about access to weapons and body armor and these things, and they're clear red flags. All right, Elizabeth, Bob, I know we're going to be talking a lot more in the coming days. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.